Hello, everybody, to the next episode, the fifth episode of Vision Vanguard. I am Sage from Vision, and today I have with me again.
Hey guys, I am the Alphonsus, Team Grade Log Team Vision, checking in one more time.
And I am Chris. You guys have seen me a little bit in the lore video, so I'm excited for another podcast.
Yeah, it's great. Back to back with all us three, talking about sort of the same thing, but a lot of content lately, right? With I'll be stuck at home, so and it's really good because we'll go over today the past 2 weeks of the Vision tournaments, and it's been kind of hot because people really want those invites, right? And next week, actually, we're going to be having our qualifier May 2nd and May 3rd. So please go check that out at twitch.tv/Rudafuda. We will be starting at 8 a.m. PST. So wherever you are out in the world, just tune in at whatever that time is. And the quality of the game should be a little higher because it's only people who have qualified. And then the week after, we're actually going to be doing a team tournament. So please go in the Discord, join that. And that'll be like a 3-man, just usual team rules. There's nothing on the line for those sorts of things, so it's going to be just more of a fun event, but hopefully very fun.
Oh,
I like
yeah,
these.
definitely.
Yeah.
We're going to have some fun, guys.
It was fun.
Yeah. And we'll just start right now with these results that we have. So first, actually, we have about 1 week ago-ish. It was on last Saturday. I was able to commentate. Actually, I wasn't able to commentate this. China was. It was great. But I participated in it. I was there the whole time, right? So this was our biggest tournament for Vision cross circuit. So round of applause. It's pretty good, right? 130 players. So we're getting to like France levels of turnout for regionals.
It's awesome.
Yes, big thank you to everybody that's been showing up and putting in the work, because this is amazing, man. Hitting triple digits, like it's awesome. It really is.
Mm-hmm. And even with that, it goes kind of for a long time, and we've been actually putting a lot more restrictions on time now in tournaments, which helps out with everybody. So I hope you guys continue to maybe push your games a little faster on both formats, so we can just get those done. And some also little tips we'll go over later in the video that people wanted to mention. So yeah, but anyway, triple digits is great. Maybe soon to be 2 blocks.
Yeah, right.
That would be interesting.
Block A and Block B.
Yeah. So anyway, we have in this kind of clan breakdown, there still was a lot of Murakami, 26 Murakami, 11 Aquaforce, and then 18 Bermuda. Is that right? Yeah, that's a lot.
It's 18 Aquaforce, 11 Bermuda.
11 Bermuda.
The icon for Bermuda.
Yeah. And then 16 Gear Chronicle. This was the biggest one, that there was 16 Gear Chronicle.
Oh, wow.
Yeah, that's kind of crazy because Gear Chronicle did well the first week, right?
Mm-hmm.
Yes.
It just took a while for the hype to build up or something
Yeah. A lot more, maybe also depends, maybe Gear Chronicle's a little more popular in places that's not the US, right?
Oh, good point.
Like Singapore is very, very popular, right? With I think every place is, but maybe some other people like to have a little more fun in Vanguard. They're not just going to play Murakami and then sit on it. But still a lot of representation from Murakami and Aquaforce, the threatening too. And as we see here, Aquaforce did super, super well.
Yeah.
Yeah, seeing the way that Aquaforce and Murakami are putting out these consistent results, yes, this is going to be the Axel Fight Club meta for quite some time, at least until the newer sets are coming in. So I'm looking forward to see how it will shift, especially for the next circuit or the next time that we'll be able to do something like this.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, and it's kind of interesting here. So, and we also had 2 Gear Chronicle, one being a Mystery Flare. I also call it Renovate Dragon, the deck. So that was cheesy, but they had average luck, and honestly, they played super, super well. Merlin did super, super well. And then, of course, we had one Mordred there, standalone, pretty good still. And kind of interesting, Focus Pilot, or who got 3rd place, he was playing Blue Wings. And it seems that Blue Wings is actually doing super well.
It's because they get resist or something.
Yeah,
it's not called resist anymore, right? But
yeah, basically,
they can target. Yeah. I did catch a stream game, my free time, where it was it might have been Focus Pilot. It was on grade 2,
mm-hmm.
and he had a full field of Blue Wings. and then he hit the heal.
Yeah, it's
It's insane.
it's been really wild with
Oh.
actually hitting heals playing Aquaforce is watching that because it's super hype. But apparently, doesn't matter what you do, Revan's just really really strong. Like maybe too strong. I think he's, for how many people like played Narukami and play this other things, Revan seems to be the one thing that's just it's a topping deck. It's a deck that will top.
Yeah, like it will always be like Narukami and Aquaforce are always going to be among your top 4 just because of just the amount of pressure that they can generate, as well as their kill turns. Like there's so much to take account for that. Like if you guard wrong on one attack, you're going to be eating like 1 more damage or dying like a turn early.
Yeah,
It's just they're always going to be a threat, and not just because of Revan, but also the support around them having like Baragios, you have your Coral Assaults, like the fact that you're able to exploit with the grade 1 that like when she's rested she can stand back up and gain 10k, and that to have that go in like, all right, so technically I'm not even resting, like the girl is gonna just stand up again and she's gonna get even more power with it. So it's just a really well refined engine that can generate aggro as early as your grade 2 rush and as late as, say, oh wow, you didn't kill me, well I'm gonna rush you back again.
Yeah. And it's to a testament of actually the engine for Aquaforce doesn't seem too crazy. I think it's really really Revan based. Up minus 5k is really strong, especially if you just go first. Especially it's going first meta standard, right?
Yeah.
And
And it's like you might not think like 5k is enough, but like it's just enough, right? To like make all your stuff like hit over defensives, just like barely enough, and then just adds up over like the 6 or whatever attacks that they can do.
Yeah, and also they can use things like Coral Salt or Narissa to like get their hand back, right? And it's kind of what Narukami does too. They have sort of the same engine with Jaggy. The whole engine there is really lean. With cards that like on hit they can draw, or they do this, do that. They just draw a lot of cards back, kind of like Coral with Jaggy. And I don't know, it's just really aggressive for just being a deck that can draw a lot of cards, right?
Yeah,
but
and the theme when they have like the recovery engine, especially that you kind of save yourself from your opponent from targeting because of like Coral Assault, Jaggy. Like, okay, let's just get some soul charging in and draw cards. It's a nice way to kind of say like, oh, what field are you gonna blow up? Oh, you're not able to exploit my rear guards. Like, like what are you gonna do about it?
Yeah, absolutely. And then with our top 2 players here, Merlin and Percival. So I want to talk about this quick their build because I'm not sure if they're going to bring this exactly. I hope they do. But Renovate is almost cookie cutter. Like a lot of people don't look into it because they think it is cheese. But he had a pretty smart build. It was just pretty basic, using 4 Renovate, 4 Lost Legend, and then a bunch of Misty Flares and Idealize. There's nothing else. There's no Chrono Fang engine besides the grade 1 Chrono Tooth because it's just drawing cards, right?
Yeah.
So it was just pretty good. I think he had good luck on a lot of things and hitting double turns and being super defensive.
Nice. Did he use the Valkyrian tech, or is it like gear?
No, you don't really use Valkyrian anymore. Just because
it's more of like a meme thing.
Yeah, it's more of a meme thing now that they have cards that actually do a lot of things, like draw cards and
right. That makes sense.
And Il Kabu. So that's absolutely that. And then Percival, he actually had a different engine. I thought Chrono Tooth was pretty. Chrono Fang, sorry, was pretty cookie cutter, but it's not. It's a lot of people use Mamen. I don't know if you know this grade 1 card where it's like when your Vanguard is placed, you can draw a card and discard a card, and if you discard a grade 3 or higher, you give 5k power to 3 rear guards.
Okay, I think I remember that.
Yeah, and so they run like 4 of them. Apparently, a lot of players maybe run 4, so they can get big numbers and always go force 2, and they just discard their high grades. And with his play, he never really did a rush. I'm a big rush player where I just go to 1 card in hand no matter what, and then go for it. If you have PGs, it sucks, but I'll deal with it, right? But this, he didn't do that. He had like 5 cards in hand at least, maybe more. He didn't really care about the skill, just more about the engine itself. And then maybe threaten the skill later, defensively, and also went through his deck quite a bit with those Memens, right? And I think and he doesn't use the grade 2 Chronobite, so he doesn't have the discard get a crit. I think that's pretty smart because it's kind of a weird card because it's hitting for low numbers anyway, and you're gonna have force 2.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
Hmm.
So you
So
really,
it's always force 2. It's always force 2.
yeah, he pretty much go like always force 2.
That's interesting.
Yeah.
So it seemed like he might be like trying to bank on like this consistent like front row retires from
Yeah.
Fang or something like
I mean,
that.
that's like only 5 cards in hand, so it's pretty linear, you know. But just like I'm personally a player that I just always go down to 1 card in hand and then just go for it because it's crazy guard restrict, right? But
Yeah.
and just win like that. But that's kind of a weird way to play, right? A lot of decks they just draw a PG or 2 against you and you just feel bad, especially the meta decks. But his version was, I think, maybe better. Of course, he got second, right? And if you guys are curious with saying these builds, you can check them out on the Vision Discord, of course.
Yep, and you gotta love it. See, like both 2 Gear Chronicle players, as you know, both Aqua and Narukami, to take those top 2 spots, and they're both different decks, which is like it's always a pleasure to see because you just see like, all right, like what makes their decks work out outside of whatever like luck factor has, but then you want to see like, okay, what's the engine? What makes this engine so intriguing? And you know, I wish people can just like, you know, kind of like I want to get into the mind and just see like break it down, like why did you do this? Why did you run the place of this card, etc. And it's really awesome to see when the work pays off, especially after a tournament like this.
Mm-hmm. Absolutely. And then we'll anything comments about this first week? We can go into the next week's standard.
Let's see next week.
Yeah, let me skipping that. All right. We're here. So this was actually a couple days ago. We're just gonna go through standard, then we'll go through premium. So another triple digit number, 102 players for starting at 8 p.m. PST, which is pretty late for US, really. So we had a few numbers in the previous week, so maybe it wasn't convenient for a lot of people here in the States, but there we go. Still 18 Narukami, 13 Aquaforce, 8 Bermuda, 9 Gear Chronicle, 8 Dark Irregulars. This is the big one. There's 8 Dark Irregular players there.
Oh.
Wow.
And then a bunch of Angel Feather. Angel Feather was really popular. Just a kind of a bigger spread that time. Right.
I guess people are trying to like figure out something different.
Yeah. Or just have fun.
So
they
always want to take in like, all right, what can I do that will either surprise people or something that I think like, all right, it's my secret sauce. How am I going to do this?
So as far as we see, you know, half the block again is still Narukami and Aquaforce is for the top cut, right? So no surprise there, right? Maybe they could have had one more, but oh well. And then very surprising when we had Genesis. He took the whole tournament, right? I didn't get too many eyes on like the finals and stuff, but I think it was wild, and he did like pull off a couple things. I think Beckham 2 did happen to have an issue with maybe a couple G assists during the tournament.
Rough.
But that's Go still got second place. Congrats to all these people qualifying, right?
Yeah, it's like seeing just the other half of the field in top 8 when you got like Genesis, you got 2 Bermuda decks, 2 different Bermuda decks with Highlander and Coral, and then you have Pale Moon with I think Nightmare Dolls.
Yeah, and I don't think his engine was Highlander; just ran Eve as well.
Just ran that one.
I think it was Melee.
That one's so good, right? That grade 4.
That grade 4, yeah, because it doubles your trigger power. That's both defensively and offensively, right? So if you had a damage trigger, it's 20k. If you basically you're spiking your opponent. I didn't quite get to see any of his games, but that's usually how the deck is ran. And then of course Coral is super good. I think Coral is like it's just the guard restrict play. I think is like super good. The battle door effect to their whole front row. Yeah. And then a Nightmare Doll kind of sneaking in. That's pretty hype. There's only two Pale Moon players too.
Yeah, it's enlightening. It's enlightening, and it's good to see more decks competing with the Axel Fight Club. You know.
Yeah. What's interesting is that, like, to me at least, is that a lot of like I guess we'll call them like rogue decks. Like, they didn't transfer really over from last week's top 8. It's like, you know, you expect the usual suspects. Narukami and Aquaforce are still there, but like all the other decks, like the Garrett Chronicle and whatnot, what was it?
Mystery Flare. Chronofang. Yeah.
And the
Mordred.
Mordred. Yeah, there we go. I was like Evil Ganslot. Who is
evil?
Yeah, and like they're just couldn't make it around
could make it.
for the
But
next week.
those players maybe took a week off, right?
Probably.
So
That's what I would do.
that's yeah, exactly, right. And some players don't. They just qualify for multiple events, and they get they get multiple qualifications, right? So they can so have a couple bragging rights.
Pass it along. Yeah.
We have a couple of those actually all the time. I don't know who's standard who double qualified. I'm sure there is somebody, but the premium, a couple people have double qualified. And so when someone double qualifies, they give the next place, like a ninth place, the invite. So it's super convenient for them. But yeah, absolutely. Anything to talk about standard before we move on to premium?
Not really. Not on my part.
Excited about Genesis, but that's about it. I don't really have much to say about it.
Yeah. I'm actually kind of curious to see his games. I might go back and watch those because it's that new grade 3 is pretty hype. I think sometimes he would go Force 2 and then like have 3 Force 2s in the front, like on his Vanguard, and 1 on the back row.
Oh my gosh, Valkyrian with a crit on it. That sounds spooky.
Yeah, it's spooky.
That's legit.
Okay. All right. Premium time. The real time. So 106 players for the previous week, April 19th. Is pretty good. You know, triple digits again with premium. Hashtag 2 blocks, right? Not sure. So with this, as far as like the distribution goes, we have, 12 dark irregulars in this, and then 13 Kagro. Kagro being the most popular deck choice. Kind of recently. And then 13 Bermuda? Oh yeah, it was also. Yeah, you're right. And 7 Grand Blue. And then the biggest thing is 11 Link Joker. Now, a lot of people may not like this, okay? But Link Joker, it doesn't do good, right? It's not topping. Like
you tell them, Sage.
You might win a couple matches, but it's games go really long. Okay, the last couple days, like the games go in really long, super long, and deck outs happen. You see it seeing Link Joker versus Link Joker having all these issues. Yeah, it's just not doing well. I don't understand. People are having fun. They're excited for the new Link Joker stuff coming out, but yeah, it's just not doing so well right now as far as topping. But maybe that's not their expectation, right? But maybe if everyone starts playing Link Joker, it will eventually top. Maybe that's what they're trying to do.
Yeah, it's usually how things work.
Yeah, so this is just like testing now. It's like testing out the different decks, like what's optimal. Are we going to go with Messiahs? Going to try and lock things down with Chaos? Like how much are we really going to go into this? And what was popular this week, maybe people are going to drop it, or maybe people just find out like I'm going to put in this tech card over that tech card.
Yeah, maybe they're like all in their own Discord talking about what they should do next time. How are we going to take over the world of Planet Cray?
Right.
Everyone run Freeze Ray. We have to do it. We have to shut him down.
Oh my god, that card.
People do run that.
Oh, that brings back memories.
Yeah, it's pretty strong. When the new premium stuff coming out, it might be better with its gift removal, but I'm not hopeful. Right? We're gonna have to see more Link Joker support coming in the future.
Yes, definitely.
Yeah. And so, mini rants over. So with this top cut here, we had Hydrojon in 4th place, making he called it the hashtag Caro Expo deck. It's basically, listen, there's still Riviera engine in there. It's not like a superior ride to the grade 2, but it does have Twat and Riviera, but it does have Caro and Sonata. I've been actually trying this build a lot because I have Bermuda, and it's just a more they're better rear guards in there because it has Caro and it has Sonata, so you have better beaters and stuff, but it's not like you can't really high roll your opponent with a Selena and multi-tech hard in that sort of facet, but it does do not bad, right? And of course there's 2 people playing pretty much that same kind of build. I'm not quite sold on it yet. Maybe Hydrojon has to sell me a little bit harder. And of course another Riviera engine. So there's 3 Rivieras got top last week. 1 Neo Nectar. Remember, there's only 6 Neo Nectars that week, so it's it's losing popularity. 2 Dark Irregulars, and I actually got 1st place. Asta, he had a very interesting thing he would do all the time. He'd go protect 2 and throw it behind his back row and behind his Vanguard. and
Oh.
he would throw his enigmatic assassin there to be a bigger booster.
Oh, interesting.
And
wow.
it absolutely worked out when he went to like Moaf and things like that, right? It got
Yeah,
a lot bigger because he would get like 3 or 4 back there, protect 2s,
Right.
and then just
Yes.
slam.
It's like Protect 2 finally finding its place in premium.
That's so funny.
Yeah. There's another play you go protect 2 like on the rear guard, but and then kick Enigmatic Assassin back in and out with a Number of Terror, but he didn't run Number of Terror in his build. He had a little bit more. He didn't have a cookie cutter build. He did something a little different, and it absolutely worked out for him, right?
Neat.
Yeah, and then
You love to see when that happens, right?
Mm-hmm. And then, of course, 1 gold paladin. So that's good that we're still seeing people doing well on it, right?
Oh yeah, Hyrule Ezel, let's go.
Mm-hmm. And then, of course, we have Kagero. I'm not sure if this was Obrar again, but it's Kagero, right? Well, maybe I can fact check that. But yeah, it's congratulations to another Kagero hitting top 8. Even though it has the most representation, pretty close to it. It's going to be doing well in this kind of meta where people have to play a normal game of Vanguard, right? So
Yeah.
Yeah,
Seem to always sneak in there somehow.
Mm-hmm.
You can't deny the denial, Griffin, or even just a spicy whatchamacallit. Oh my god, I can't wait forgot the G guard that just retires everything in the back row.
Defeat Flare.
Yeah, Defeat Flare.
It's super good. All right, and then anything else I think on this week? Or are we just ready for week 4 or week 2?
I'm excited to see if the Bermuda kind of is solidifying itself into the last week as well.
Mm-hmm. Oh, we'll see. 3, 2, all right.
Oh,
1 Bermuda. So this was
Okay.
this was a very diverse top 8 here.
Yeah, this is crazy.
oh my god.
Yeah, and there was a pretty diverse playing field of the clan breakdown. So 92 players, a few less players, of course, right? There's 5 Shadow Paladin, and during the whole thing, I was watching Shadow Paladin, like people's win ratings, because I was commentating on this one, and it was doing really well. They had a lot of win rate. They had a high win rate. 9 Kagero, 2 Murakami. I want to say that because, well, Murakami is not a bad clan in premium because it's going to be standard plus, and people really like the new cards or the new strike coming with it, basically making it standard plus. And people are really desperate. There's still like 13 Darker regulars, and no one qualified with that. It's a tier 1 deck, but it's not qualifying in every single thing, right?
Yeah, there's
Makes
like
you
a bunch of
wonder.
factors.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, it's a bunch of factors. Like just because you are playing a tier 1 deck does not mean you're guaranteed, because you still have you still got to carry the deck yourself. Like anybody can just get the tier 1 deck that they need, but they have to know how to play it. And of course, maybe it's not just the player's mistake. Maybe it could be just bad luck. Like you get grade blocked, you get crit sacked, etc. So there's a bunch of reasons, but it's more of like, it's like 50% the deck, 50% the player. That's how I would look at it in that regard.
Absolutely. And as far as like the rest of things we have, the thing is there's 8 Link Joker, right? And 9 Kagero, and those really mess with Dark Regulars a lot. And so maybe that's a thing to it. And the deck's already kind of, it's already a little fragile. Like if you rush it down too hard and they don't have the right cards to come back from it, or if you're able to damage 9, they don't have Bobos and you can kill them through another way pretty quickly. It's Dark Regulars can be pretty fragile. I know it's a hard to pilot deck, but it's also, you kind of have to not get unlucky.
Yeah, I can agree with that.
It seems like to be a momentum thing, especially when you rush the momentum against a DI player in premium. It's just like, I have to do something now.
Mm-hmm.
I need to do something now.
Mm-hmm, yeah, and maybe I didn't see a lot of Number of Terror. Maybe I wasn't quite right on that, but maybe they copied the previous build and it just didn't work out because Number of Terror really makes up your hand against these decks that have a little more control or a little more rush, and all of a sudden your hand's empty and you're at 5 damage, and then you have to pass turn, right? So
yeah, unfortunately.
Yeah, and then 6 Grand Blue, very popular clan right now. It seems, I think, getting up there.
Yeah, it's starting to get the momentum.
Yeah, it did second at Worlds, and I think a lot of people are using similar builds, and it has it's a big toolkit option deck, but
the deck is super cool.
Mm-hmm.
I feel like it's it hasn't really been topping, but like that doesn't speak to how good it kind of is.
Yeah, I think it topped like a couple weeks ago in our last video, but yeah, did great. And then I think 4 Neonectar, 6 Great Nature. There was a lot of Great Nature, like 3 Mega Colony. And yeah, 4 Spike Brothers, unfortunately. That's just how it goes sometimes, right?
Yeah, Hell Hard 8 is a very aggressive strategy, but then again, as people figure out Spike Brothers a little bit more often, they realize like how much more can I do in order to counter that deck?
Yeah.
And people are at least wising up. Like they realize that like what counters DI? Like you just control their field or rush them down, like, and you'll do okay with them.
Yeah.
But at least both times we still see Neonectar creeping in the top 8, knowing that Katrina is always going to be a card, and people should watch out when people would just drop Katrina on the board. It's like, all right, how bad is this?
Mm-hmm. And it's kind of interesting because there is good decks. I really feel like Spikes has super low representation for a lot of things, even though sometimes they get some people to get in there with it. So that's always a thing with there. But, you have to get kind of lucky with maybe damage checks or what you face, right? Because you can definitely face Kagero. And seems that I'll go to our top 8. We actually have 2 Kagero. One being a Brar. Super. He double qualified, so he's qualified twice now. He's trying to go for the win. He got second, came pretty close this time.
So close.
And I think most of them run pretty much the Hulk Roar Dragon engine with the Bellog.
Oh, really? So people are like converting to that?
Yeah, I think that's like pretty much the build. I think when you watch it, like it's pretty big brain, and it's really good. Like super dominating to me. They can like pretty much retire. One time they had 5 tokens out, and he retired 4 in that one turn, right?
Oh,
pretty much. So he only had 1 token to call like one guy and a plant maker. So
it's so sad.
Yeah, it is sad, but it's how it is. It's how it be. It's still.
Yeah, but shout outs to 3 Heels freaking going in with the latest VR. Oh my god, Isabel, right?
Mm-hmm.
Oh my
Playing
god.
Great Nature, and actually that's kind of a contributing factor. I thought Brar were just like he was dominating so hard, and I don't know too much about Great Nature to be honest, right? And like all their strides, but they have so many options. They have a card called Defunk or Afunk. Not sure. So basically, what it does is it makes it so you can't retire any of their rear guards. So, So Kagero, his whole strategy is to retire his field, but he can't do any of that, right? It was pretty. I was like, no, he's just gonna lose. Like, what can you do, right?
He countered the counter.
Yeah, and then of course, Great Nature also has their sort of pseudo denial Griffin play, right?
Yep.
And they also can just draw a lot of cards defensively with their G guards. So a lot of options there, really. It's pretty wild, awesome to see.
Yeah. The deck that plays Denial Griffin but has a counter to the actual Denial Griffin.
You gotta love it. Great. They're doing their research. You got a lot of animals just putting together a lot of minds to see how in the world they're gonna approach each matchup. And like even if you want to push the big green button in Zoa, that would also be an interesting kill shot as well. But also nice to see some of the oldies creeping in the top 8 as well. Seeing Luard and Angel Gize.
No, it's Luard Gize.
It's Luard Gize? Oh,
yeah.
I'm sorry.
No, it's all right.
Bad.
There's a little Shadow Paladin.
Tiny
mark there. Yeah, I'll talk about that.
Gotcha.
Actually, it's kind of interesting looking at these decks. A lot of these, maybe not Katrina so much, but they're a little slower pace. People actually get to stride at least once or twice compared to what we're kind of used to in the previous weeks, where people were playing Claret and then just more Fessa and win, right?
Yeah.
Pretty fast. And now this week is pretty slower playing. Luard's able to get in there, Jamio Congo. All these sorts of builds going on, and of course, a Gize hitting top 8. So it's kind of funny. In our last round, we watched a game, and then we went to another game really fast, and we saw Luard Gize against Neonectar. And Luard Gize, he hit Gize, right?
Okay.
But then Neonectar went into Megaloma. And if you guys know Megaloma's skill, Megaloma is like Windstroke. It's their progenitor, and they can discard 2 cards. Yeah, if they go to 6 damage, they take all their damage on other cards in their hand, shuffles their deck, and then puts 5 damage face up, and then it ends their turn immediately, like opponent's turn immediately. That's exactly what happened. So like he had to like if he was able to drive check, maybe he'd get like enough cards to draw, but no, you couldn't do that. It's pretty RIP. It was really fun to actually see Megaloma be used in that setting, but you got to watch out for it, right? It was pretty high.
Stride zone, you gotta keep in mind all those strides that can be somewhat beneficial in certain matchups. And seeing like, oh, you deal that much damage to me, I'm gonna just say end the turn.
Yeah,
and then move on.
Yeah,
but at the same time, like, what other option does Geese have to kill you? You know, like they kind of have to do it.
Yeah, not Luar Geese, but yeah, absolutely. You have to get your opponent like the 2 damage because I think how Megaloma works too. Like it stops it, but if there's more damage coming in, like say like a crit, it does that. But he was only at 1 damage. It's not that hard to guard a lot of Shadow Paladin.
Yeah,
if they don't have triggers at all.
Yeah,
it's not like they're not going to go into Morfessa, right? So because they don't want to deal too much damage.
Maybe that's the new tech.
Morfessa Gize?
The word Gize with Morfessa.
Oh no! Actually, we'll talk about. I want to talk about this later. Bang Dream. I don't know if you guys care about the Bang Dream set coming up.
I care.
Okay.
Of course, I'm a big weeb, so I care.
Yeah, Chris, do you like Bang Dream at all?
I'm like not super in the Bang Dream universe.
Okay, yeah.
I always like new cards.
Yeah, I don't really play Bang Dream. Like I don't care too much about that, but I play Weiss Schwartz. And
the Bang Dream.
They have a Bang Dream set in there. It's kind of
super meta.
Yeah, it's pretty wild. So anyway, congrats to all of our participants, and the hit top 32. Well, we're having more commentators come on. It's pretty hype, actually. Super fun lately. Missed you guys last week, but soon, TM, right? We'll have more stuff go through. It's pretty awesome. Now with this, we'll just maybe go into some more discussions. We had some reveals today.
Yep.
And now next thing I wanted to kind of talk about is we had some new news today. Maybe this video will be released on Friday, but as far as we know is today. So for the Premium Collection 2020, we're all getting new crits. Unfortunately, they're not grade 3s, but they're grade 0s. And like boring, right? Same thing. And they gave every clan a stride fodder, so basically it's a crit that you can just use for stride fodder. So pretty much I think a 4 of like every deck that wants to stride. Pretty good.
Yeah, I would agree.
Yeah, these new crit triggers are going to be game changers, especially with deck building. Like the fact that you can just discard from your hand to make it that was just like what do you mean? Like I'm looking at Celeste Witch Toto, and it's just like what? Like it's the new 10k trigger critical, and you get to.
I think it's and it's a 15k shield, so it's pretty like a normal thing, right? And it's for all clans. They're all going to get one. I feel like it's kind of weird. Why not just make it a Cray Elemental and everyone can use it? But people like art, They have to make the bushy money and pay their artists, right? Yeah. So if you go look at those, some look better than others. Some look really, really good. Some don't, right? So not sure. I'm really happy with Spike Brothers. I don't know if you guys saw your clans and if you were excited to see yours, but Spike Brothers had like a cheer girl. So it looks really good actually, but.
Exciting. I think I take a look. It's hard because the picture I saw was like pretty small, so I was just like, I'm not gonna look too closely. I'll figure it out later.
Yeah. So,
but yeah, I'm excited for them.
I
think it's gonna, like Alfonso said, it's gonna change up deck building a lot. I'm especially curious if we'll see a lot of like not grade 4, like 3. Oh my, mixing my numbers up. 4 grade 3 decks.
Yeah.
Because like you could run the old stride fodders along with the crits, and like you'll just be able to stride all the time, but you're only running 4, so like
I mean,
you could do some like shenanigans.
Yeah,
there, probably. I
think a lot of people, like what you're saying, if you're playing a deck that only relies on like 4 grade 3, it's just a ride, right? They can run the new grade 1s that search the top 5 cards of their deck for a grade 3, so they can be a little better with that, because that's pretty good. Realistically, it's just being able to look for a grade 3 through those, making it a little more expensive. That's unfortunate, but now people don't have to run so many grade 3s, so much grade 1 stride fodder, or just struggle stride, which you guys know what struggle striding is.
Oh yeah.
Oh yeah. Nothing worse when I have to dump 3 grade 1s. Say this
Oh,
equals
God!
3, right?
3 grade 1s. Oh no.
Yeah, there were times I had to do that. Yeah, it was just like, are you serious? I'm like, dude, look at my head.
And then you got lured players over there like, I'll discard 3 grade
Yeah.
grade 1s. I'm down.
Unfortunately, all the old grade 1 like SP stride fighters may not be used as much, but they're still pretty.
Yeah, you can still buy one, like a few maybe, especially if it's concerning like maybe a particular stride break that they probably want to run, so they have an extra utility.
And even in decks where you'd want to run, like, let's say 12 stand or whatever. Actually, it depends. No deck really wants to do that actually plays, strides. It's just Valkyrian. Yeah, we'll see.
Jumping Valkyrian, yes.
Yeah, pretty wild. And then I want to talk about, they're gonna have a ban list this next Tuesday on the 8th, or is it the 8th? The 5th. The 5th. Wow, I'm going way too far. So pretty excited about that. Actually, I think a lot of people are looking forward to seeing it, kind of exactly what's going on with that, right? And so, do you guys have any like spot predictions or ideas that you think they might touch on, or do you think it's going to be like nothing?
I think that it's probably going to be more premium bans. I guess we'll see how Bushi's going to react to the incoming premium set. They may have seen something that some of the reveals at this time of the recording, like that we don't know about yet, that could introduce some more broken combos to it. So it might be a little bit of a safety valve. For standard, I don't think that not a lot is going to get hit. I think that everything is pretty fine the way it was. Like, you can't really restrict Narukami or Aquaforce like too much. Like it's just a really solid engine at the time, and of course there's always going to be other decks that'll come out with more support. So I got a feeling it will be more premium focused than standard.
Okay, Chris,
I think that's a good call. And like I don't know, I don't really know. Like I'd like to see personally, I'd like to see a little bit of a hit to Neonectar. I think they're gonna get a little crazy with Cyclones on top of Katrina making like huge plant tokens.
I think that'll be like one thing they need to address at least, or something, because that's kind of too big. And they also restand their plant tokens if they check a grade 1 or something without skills. If they have that, they're not going to be striding. They're still going to be striding Katrina, right? But it just makes their plant tokens huge.
Yeah,
which is really dumb. But hopefully they address that now. Maybe that's what that's only about. Maybe it's just that. But I have a feeling. What could they do? I looked at the fighters rules, and I looked at every single card. And some cards, I'm like, why were people really afraid of like Old Laurel? I'm like, yeah, maybe so, right? But I looked at everything, right, and like possibly, Shiryuki to 2, maybe like that. Maybe a little bit, maybe bring it up a little bit so it's not so terrible. And then, of course, I kind of think standard's a little more volatile, like right now, compared to premium. Maybe they're not really looking at results because they don't have any results to go off of besides ours. And now Bushiroad's looking at us, right? But hey, maybe if they hit Aquaforce Narukami right now, okay, Bushi, listen, I need you to listen up, all right? So, Jaggy shot to 1, all right? This card's too free. This card is way too free. You just bind from hand. You get multi-attacking. You get a draw. You get a grade 3 in the soul right away. To 1. Put it to 1. And then Revon, maybe I'll rot it so you can't minus 5k your opponent if they're not grade 3. Maybe.
Oh, that would be an interesting nerf.
Because if
it would be,
it's fast. It's too fast. And the thing is, it might give you an option because you could just ride the other double rare grade 3 and just ride that. You want to ride that first, so get minus 5k as well. It's just not Revan where you're triple driving and having,
Yeah, Revon's just such a beast. I think maybe they should just add on like an additional cost, such as maybe like Counter Blast or Soul Blast or something besides just rest the rear guard. I think by adding more cost to it, it would be at least better for the Aquaforce player to realize, like, okay, how much resources do I have? And force them to keep mindful that, okay, this is not just like, a free minus K5, a free minus 5K like all the time. So
Mhm.
I think making that cost hurt more would at least help the Dark Force player realize, like, okay, this is a turn where I want to really, really rush in, or I'm just gonna like just stick to a regular rush plan and just deal with my opponent's 12K or 13K Vanguard.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So maybe something like that. And I had some other notes down here. And, I talked to some people and they said they probably aren't going to do very much, right? But there's also some other things that I think I was talking to Chris earlier about. And so, like, of course, Neonectar, they can hurt Katrina. But Darker Regulars, okay. This is the boogeyman. This is like the tier 1 deck that everyone has to work around. And then maybe why it hasn't done too well. But they need to do something before I don't know. It's just so strong. It just feels so bad to play against, right? So Enigmatic Assassin to 0, right?
0.
Oh, just ban it?
Yeah,
Get
just
him out of here.
Yeah, I think a lot of people might think that's interesting. People said they should have happened before. But of course, ban No Life King. Maybe restrict the 2. You can't use No Life King and Enigmatic Assassin the same thing. Because No Life King's
choose one or two,
kind of the problem, but Enigmatic Assassin enables it, right? And then maybe Gastile. Not really. I think Gastile's a pretty cool card. It's just the issue is that an OK exists or this exists, right? So
yeah. It could just be that Gastile goes because it's just one of those things. It's like going to be a problem. Like, oh, we made a new cool grade 3, and Gastile's like, great.
Mm-hmm.
I'm going to abuse that.
Absolutely. And then, or maybe they're pre-banning. They're pre-banning strides before they're even out. OTT, get ready. You're gonna get the new Ichikishima.
My soul. Kishima, I want the OG Ishikishima game, man. It was really hard enough to be like, oh man, it's so awesome. My opponents can't use perfect guards, and they're like, okay, this is too much. Like, this is not.
Yeah, well, I'm saying that the new OTT stride that's coming out, it's not even really announced yet, right? Because the last Stillwater was banned, pretty quick, and now maybe they're just
kind of speed up the process this time, right?
Yeah,
before it's even out.
It just had that factor. It just had that factor where it would either stack the deck legally or just do really shady guard restrictions that just turned out to be really more broken than they would like it to be.
Yeah, and there's still some interesting things. So I think a really big thing that I kind of want, because I didn't really get a chance to really experience this toxicity of Anj. So I want to see Anj the 4 again, so you can still run Anj. Maybe that's too toxic, right?
Anj is just such a beast. The fact that he's on place, on stride, being able to bounce stuff back to hand, it got rid of a lot of problems, because when people were trying to run the Cray Elementals or other cards that need to be on the field, by bouncing that, you're disrupting your opponent's defense strategy or forcing them to play these cards again. And the fact that you get card advantage just for bouncing both, I add a card back to my hand. Not only do I draw a card, but I also grab any grade 3.
Yeah.
Which seeing the way that Bermuda has really capitalized without Anj has been outstanding. I was like, wow, they really made it in. But that was because Riviere came in and just fucking wrecked face. It was.
Yeah,
it was the replacement for Anj, but I guess if they bring Anj back, she's gonna have a lot of support, a whole lot of support.
I mean, the thing is, would people still run they can run Riviere and Anj? I feel like the deck's a lot weaker now because there's no Ellie involved, and I don't think don't unban Ellie, ban that shit, get that out of here.
Never let that come off.
Yeah.
Yeah, just oh god, Ellie was just because you just run 6 of those Sentinels, and then on top of the G guards, how much is this G guard guarding for?
Yeah.
Plus 50, 60K.
And you have the grade 2 Sandys that you can discard as a heal trigger, right? So it's pretty toxic, but I'm just curious to see what people can do with Anj, right?
I'm gonna say that it's probably not too terrible if you unban her.
Yeah. And they're probably not looking at her. I don't think so. This is probably just like a couple things. I'm just going the extreme of this is everything they could do. Okay, guys, let's let's get the ban list we deserved a couple months ago, right?
We'll see, because at least like the premium collection, seeing the way that this format is being revitalized and just shown up like over and over, and people are really starting to appreciate like just all this new stuff that's just for premium. Like I'm looking forward to see what new deck recipes are going to come up of this. I'm looking forward to see what this emergency ban list is going to be. It's going to be hype. Like people are caring more about premium, which is awesome. That's like my main goal. To have people care more about the old cards that they grew up with.
Yeah. Awesome. Okay. Cool. And going with that, we're going to be going into this is still kind of our last segment. We're going to talk about the premium strides we haven't looked into yet from last week's. Now we're like about halfway through what we have seen already. So I wonder what the future's going to be. Are you guys, we're still excited. I'm actually more excited to see like more rogue stuff like Tachikaze for premium collection.
Oh, hell yeah. Yeah, definitely.
And then we're just going to go into all these strides. So we're just going to start maybe a strange order, but we'll go under Angel Feather first. So if you guys don't know the skill, of course you can stride it. And then it has a skill of on Vanguard when it's placed. If your generation break 3, if you were to lose, you have to go to 7 damage instead of 6 damage. And if you're GB5, you have to go to 8 damage if you have 5 cards face up in your G zone. And that's pretty good. Actually, I think it also counts this, so you can have 4 face up in your G zone and then this.
No, because it's on your Vanguard circle, so you have to like 5.
Yeah,
actually face up, right? Yeah.
Yeah, you're right. Yeah, if your G zone has 5 or more face up cards,
it's like essentially GB6.
Yeah, but the GB3 can be like GB2, right? And then stride it. I think that's what it's...
Yeah, because
the GB counts Vanguard.
Yeah, that's kind of annoying, right?
It's really annoying.
Yeah, it's just really getting through to the 5. Like Angel Feather, I'm sure like they have like strides that'll help them like ramp up to that card, especially when you run the flipping G Guardians.
Yeah, I'm not. A lot of Angel Feather players kind of say that this isn't what they needed. But I think it's
I would agree with that.
Especially because
it's really funny.
Yeah, especially when it comes to the second skill, which is just enact Counterblast 4 until the end of the turn. When they would attack, the opponent would have to call basically a Battle Doors effect. Cards from hand, they must call the same number of cards from their damage zone as the number of cards in their damage zone. So if they'd say they had 5 cards in the damage zone, it's like 5 Battle Door, right? Really good, especially if like 7. So it's either G Guard or GG, pretty much.
This card is so funny.
Yeah, it's just like instead of guard restriction, it's more like force guarding. Like you're just forcing your opponent, like, oh, you don't have a G Guardian. Well, you have 4 damage. Where are your 4 cards?
Yeah,
and I like this. I like this type of guarding because it helps, like especially with decks that build like so much hand. It's like, oh, I have to change this I have to change this game plan a bit, or be more willing to take damage early, or if you can, just try and guard everything early as you can. But of course, that'll always alter from game to game. Like I can't believe it took 9 years for now an alternate lose condition to come in, where just be like, I wonder what it's like when you go past 6 damage. I'm like, well, Angel Feathers can go up to 7 or 8 now, so maybe that Mega Blast doesn't look so bad after all.
I think the bad kind of thing about this people were saying though is it's the Counterblast 4. That's basically it. That this skill is unlikely to go off because you don't really have a lot of pressure on your opponent if you're not using your previous Counterblast, right? So
yeah, so I've been trying to figure this one out a little bit because I do have premium Angel Feathers.
Oh, okay.
And it's pretty awkward where like you're either striding it a generation break 3 and like getting an extra damage zone, which is like essentially healing, but like then you do nothing, right?
Yeah.
And then the Counterblast 4, like you just said, it's such a hefty cost. Like, and the problem is if your opponent's not at like 4 or 5 damage, it's probably not enough to kill them because they'll just be like, oh, I'll take that.
Or it's Angel Feather versus Angel Feather. They both have to go to 8 damage, you know. Pretty toxic.
Timeouts would be horrible. Like, how many times now? Like, we have 6 Angel Feathers going off right now. It's like,
oh no.
But yeah, it ends up being pretty awkward and like not like super amazing, but I think it's really funny that like you get such a high battle door, and also you could just be like, well, I can go to 8 damage.
Yeah. Would you hit deck out by then? Like I don't the games go that
No.
long. Oh, okay.
No.
All right. Okay. And then next, we'll go into Murakami. So we have a Conquering Supreme Dragon, Stun versus Dragon. A lot of dragons in there, right? So of course it's you stride this from your G zone, but you actually don't want to do a normal stride with this card. Funny enough, actually no, you do want a normal stride with this card. It's actually the opposite of what I was thinking. So funny enough, you're never going to turn this card sideways and attack with it because its skill is Cell Blast 1, and then flip a card from your G zone face up, and then you put this card back to your G zone. And then your opponent chooses 4 cards from his or her rear guards and the drop zone and binds them. And for every 4 cards in your opponent's bind zone, you get to draw a card, and your opponent has to put a card from the hand and bind it. So it's basically Vanquisher support, just standard plus. You know, I'm not sure if you're going to be seeing like a lot of Drill Dragon going on with this, but I'm thinking more, you know, just Vanquisher sort of effects going off on here, which is a little boring, I think, but I mean, certainly good. Like Vanquisher is really good in standard right now.
Boring but good, right?
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, it's efficient because at least when you think of like all the bind cards that Murakami would have, and realizing that you can really disrupt your opponent's defenses like that, because the awesome part about this is that all this takes place during the main phase.
Mm-hmm.
So there's no like G Guardians that's going to be active because nobody's attacking.
Mm-hmm.
You're attacking their hand before they even get a chance to enter battle. And the deadly part about this is that, yeah, like Vanquisher is going to be like, oh, wow, I'm back. And then it's like, oh, I'm back. Because then you realize when you get that bind zone up, even binding like 2-3 cards out of your opponent's hand and drawing cards, that is amazing because you're setting up.
The later the game goes, the better this card gets. It's actually kind of mind-blowing, right? If they're like, draw 3 cards, you bind 3. And it's like, the game should be over by then, right? And you can't even damage deny this shit. It's pretty crazy, right?
Yeah,
so
Soul Blast.
Yeah, and it's you don't even need to bind anything with Murakami. You just throw. You can actually not run like anything. You can run anything you want in the standard version. You just need big attackers, right, and things that bind. So it's pretty cute.
I was talking to some friends about this too, and like some of them were like, well, maybe like you could just like deny the skill by like not calling anything and not guarding with anything. And I was like, you're so dead if you try to do that.
Yeah. Because either
try not guarding.
It's like you're gonna try and play it out, or just realize, oh, I'm just gonna beat this person's face, and I'll just use a different stride.
Hopefully you can get resist on your field during the main phase, right? That'd be ideal.
Yeah. If you had a lot of resist things, that would be useful.
Bermuda has that with
blue wings. Yeah, they're back.
Blue Wings Premium. Okay, slow down there, Cotton. I was thinking more like a different deal with there's a Bermuda card. I don't remember what it is. It's a grade 1, and it basically makes it so if you're Vanguard Riviere, all your cards get resist. So
from the match that we commentated, where it just be like when Vanquisher activated and she wasn't able to target
that's a Pacifica card. Yeah, that's Pacifica. But there's a card in Premium, like that's not the standard card. That's like if you're Vanguard. It's pretty dumb. And I'm like, oh, that's super good. They can't do anything to it, right? So my brother did it to me, and then I just realized like this card doesn't target. It's bad end dragger. It doesn't. So just retire it. Get it out of here. So it doesn't like it matter anyway. So yeah. Pretty good. Probably, I think Murakami was already being a good premium deck, being standard plus. Now it's even more so, right? And maybe not top tier, but it's somewhere in there. It's somewhere in there.
It's getting there. It's definitely getting there.
Mm-hmm. Definitely.
Sweet. And then the next one, it was revealed by different fight. We have Heat Wave Beast Geomaglass. So unfortunately, it's not a robot. It's like an alien for Dimension Police. And of course, as a stride skill, you can stride it during the stride phase. And then as a Vanguard and G-Zone skill, which gives If it's face up, all of your grade 3s on rear guard and guard circle get additional 5k power and 5k guardian, and it has intercept, right? So kind of a Morikawa setup where you can just run like as many grade 3s as you want and just kind of have that sort of power. So a little more defensive. It's a little interesting. I'm not quite sure how it plays into Stings, and I know we're getting Dimension Police support soon-ish, so hopefully it kind of goes with that, but pretty good, I think.
Yeah, I think that this one is a very interesting card just because it's carrying over Dieliner and I guess like other shield value cards for their grade 3s into premium now with the strike, because now it's just like, oh, like if I'm on Dieliner or I'm on like other cards like this to boost my shield, my grade 3s become like grade 1 value 10k shields, and it's seen that it's great for the fact that you get to defend from the poke attacks, because it sucks when you have to overguard just because you don't have a proper 5k shield that you feel comfortable guarding with. Yeah. But with cards like this, you know, now you get to have a little bit more leniency with like the grade 3s that you have, and being able to at least call cards. Like calling cards or drawing cards always is great advantage engine, especially for a clan like Dimension Police, which is very Vanguard centric. But being able to fill up a board a little bit, I do appreciate that this card has been made, and that, you know, the furthers the theme of just say, hey, grade 3s can be shield value too.
And it's already pretty defensive in premium. Like I know in standard. So it kind of carries over even better. And its other skill, right, is when it attacks, you can counterblast one and flip a card from your G zone face up, and then look at top 7 cards to your deck, and you call 2 to rear guard, and then also the unit gets a critical for every grade 3 of your grade 3 units. So you can attack with your rear guards first, your grade 3 rear guards. Maybe they have a force marker on them, and then you can call new units back out. That's pretty good with things that you'll suck back up in the soul. I remember the grade 3's name, Dizoris, right? And getting Dizoris. Extra drive checks. So a multi-attacking in Dimension Police, which is already pretty good. Not as resetting Vanguard, of course, but if you know, this is super good actually. I think as far as multi-attacking goes.
It gives them more options too, right? Like you're not just like big Vanguard.
Yeah, I don't really know what they used before, but this is pretty good, I think. Oh, they use a new one, right? The new Dimax, right? But yeah.
We'll have to double check on that.
Yeah, they use
for premium deep police decks?
Yeah, I think they use a bit of the new stride that they got last year, 2019.
They use mostly the Grand Gallop stride, X Gallop, I think.
Okay.
Where like it restands when you're like 80k power.
Okay.
And it gets like extra drive checks, so they're just like 80k.
Yeah, that doesn't get like 10k power for every card in your G zone, right?
Yeah,
So
it's very easy to hit the threshold.
Yeah. Okay. Yeah. Cool. Well, now they have a good option for multi-attacking, which I think is super good. All I need now is guard restrict, right? They'll be busted.
Yeah, the whole package.
More shield breaking.
Shield breaking.
Yeah, absolutely. Now, you know, I don't know how much counter charge if they run Bobos in this, but Damage Denied does shut it down a little bit. But
that's true.
We'll see. I'm not sure if they're really going to have that big of an issue because they're very defensive, right? So, okay, cool. Then the next card we actually have is Dark Irregulars. This was revealed with Angel Feather, so this is kind of an oof because Dark Irregulars already has really, really good strides.
Yeah.
And this is kind of an oof stride. So, of course, you can stride it normally during your stride step. And then when it attacks, you can counterblast one. So it's already going to cost counterblast, which already sucks really hard. Turn a card from your G-Zone face up. You soul charge 5. Mandatory soul charge 5. And then you draw the same number of cards as trigger units that were soul charged until the end of the battle. And then when your opponent would call cards to Guardian Circle, he or she must call the same number of cards as normal units that were soul charged. It's sort of a battle door. But you don't get to control. It's kind of RNG based. You know, you can draw 5. You can soul charge 5 and draw 5, you know, or not draw anything and they have to go with 5 cards, right? And I mean, you're not Brufus, you're not NLK, you don't have like extra criticals, you don't have extra attacks coming out. Kind of an oof with when it comes to that.
I agree. Big oof. Especially like I'm so used to seeing battle doors that like affect the whole turn, and this one is only his attack.
Yeah, it's not like an act.
And I was just like,
it's on attack. So you can't do it in the main face. You can't use like emblem the number of terror with
Mhm.
enigmatic assassin shenanigans and restand triggers. No. You do this first, and so like your restand triggers are kind of useless. I don't know.
Like I'm not sure what they could expand on after having such really good strides from like just the stride suite that Dark Regular has had was already really intriguing from like their early game to their late game. Like I don't know, it's like it's hard to find a stride to kind of insert into that tempo, just because like there's like you have guard restriction, you have restanding, you have like shuffling triggers back. Like I am so sorry, I'm like blanking on all of my Dark Regular strides, even though I have the deck. Like from whatchamacall, the devil dude that the devil dude that pretty much restricts from grade 1 guarding, which was like OP back
Yeah,
then.
I know what you're talking about.
To
He's the free card, right?
Usually the stride you would put on at the end where you get to take all the grade 0s and then shuffle them back into your deck.
Oh yeah, Blader Mouse.
Yeah.
Blader Mouse was the one. Like they and even the oh my god, even the Persona stride of the stride break, being able to just blow up your opponent's board, and then soul charging everything, and also restricting sentinels, not like a particular grade, just sentinels, which was like future proof, especially with like Protect 1 and all, and like other cards that could also act as PGs. So like this is like, it seems like an overkill card to me. I think like maybe if they want to be fancy, they can go into Galvanth, but outside of that, like people just like can finish off like with just any other stride if they so choose.
Yeah,
I would also hate to be at like 13 cards a deck and you attack with this one and soul charge 5 triggers and then have to draw 5 cards.
And triple drive, and lose.
Triple drive and lose, like
Yeah, so that's another thing. I think this is actually a decent first stride if you need a soul charge 5, maybe draw some things, like if you're really struggling. But I feel like the deck has a lot of options right now. Maybe this is like, hey, we revealed this card too early. We're supposed to ban Gastile first. Oops.
Hit ban button quickly.
Quick. Next week.
Quick.
We have to. Guys, it's not that bad. It's not that bad, right? I feel like Dark Regulars already has really good strides with Balam doing like 5 different skills on one attack, right? And then we have, of course, Blader Mouse, a better later stride. And then not to mention like the Progenitor Dragon, which kind of does the same thing where you could soul charge 5. But this way you could just draw like cards you soul charge and then also have it's kind of awkward. I think it's super awkward.
Yeah, I'm sorry. That was supposed to be Balam. Balam was the stride that restricts to grade 1, and the Shaharwit stride. I really had to just look it up because I want.
Oh, is this Balam?
Yeah.
Okay. Isn't there a stride that's it's like a free cost? You just flip the same name and it like guard restricts as a crit.
I don't remember the name.
Yeah.
But, like, it's super good.
Yeah. You put it in the deck because it has no counterblast cost. That's why. So.
Yeah, there's no counterblast.
But people said that card was really good back then.
Gilderai.
Yeah, Gilderai. Yeah.
Oh yeah.
Yeah, Gilderai was a beast.
So many bad memories of I'm doing pretty good. Oh man.
Yeah, it's just be like I'm at 3 and I'm like, oh, I'm at 4, and then they invite it and I'm like, all right, all these PGs are useless, so now I have to chance it on like, okay, just don't hit a crit or don't like, forget the soul requirements or something like that.
Yeah, absolutely. Sweet. And then we'll go to our next card here, which was revealed by Solemn Vanguard, right? Great, Maxime Solemn. So, I don't know how to pronounce his first word. I'm guessing it's white, but White's Legion sailing ship, Bad Bounty. So a big ship, pretty cool art. I think they're usually used to a bunch of girls with Night Rose. People still want more Night Rose stuff, but this is pretty awesome, right? So of course you can stride step it normally. And I think a lot of Grand Blue players, I looked at this card, I didn't think it was that great, but the Grand Blue players were like, no, listen. It's super good because they didn't have it before, Restanding Vanguard. Like, if you're facing against Kagero, if you're facing against Link Joker, they can't retire your Vanguard, so like they can't do anything against this, right? So it's a good option. So if they ever get into those matchups, they can do something.
Yeah.
So the skill is at the end of the battle, it attacked. You can counterblast 1, discard 3 cards from your hand, and then you put it into your G zone face up, and you choose 1 card from your drop zone. That's a grade 3, and you ride it as stand. So if you have any grade 3s that have auto skills, I don't know if there's any old ones that before standard came, because most of the standard ones are pretty much on attack. It gets like 20k to crit, like the new grade 3. But there's not a lot of good like on place Vanguards that are in they're in standard right now. There's like 1 double rare that's like it just mills a couple cards. It's not really useful, but this is still pretty good because you just get another twin drive, and you get a protect marker. You get a protect marker, which is pretty boss.
Well, like what people have theory crafted was using one of the limit break rides. It was a Night Mist, and Night Mist, when a grade 3 is right on top, you get to call more cards from the drop zone, and they get like 5k or whatever.
Okay.
So this ship could very well just ride in that like 7 C's Night Mist grade 3, and then like stride into this one, and then either have a limit break enabler out or be at 4 damage, and then
my gosh, it's so good.
And then break ride, and so now not on top are you getting like cards called to your field, especially the hollow cards, but also even calling, and then you get your protect marker because like, hey, I'm using the new Grand Blue, so it's a really big swing turn, and also could be an effective kill turn. Like this stride can unlock a lot more strategies, and also give value to some of the cards that have been that have came and went before.
Wow. Okay.
So,
that's actually awesome.
Yeah. Like, because going off of that, if you think about it, like calling 2, you could like call 2 Skull Dragons right off of the break ride. So you swing the Vanguard, call 2 Skull Dragons, re-ride. And then, like, that's pretty brutal, especially if you already had, like, multiple Skull Dragon attacks before.
You also rewrite a Skull Dragon, so it's freaking massive. You know?
Could also rewrite
Skull Dragon is so good. Yeah.
A lot of combos can be had with this ship, so I'm looking forward to see people really put this into action. See, okay, can they put Grand Blue even further?
Yeah, absolutely. And they already have, like, I think they have such a good engine. Obadiah is such a really good card, right? Just search out any 5 cards from your deck thinning, and then you have this as a good finisher, right? Or you just use this, right? Well, we'll see. Time could tell. It's pretty great. And then we'll go into Great Nature. I thought Solemn was going to do this, but then he ended up doing Grand Blue, which is interesting. So we have another dragon. We have Omniscience Dragon. Wow, I can't even... Sipticon? Yeah, you think you're missing a few vowels there. But yeah, Sipticon. I'm not. Maybe I'm probably absolutely wrong on that. Anyway, so you can stride it regularly during your stride phase, and then when you can, when your card is put from rearguard circle to the deck. Sorry, when your card is put from rearguard circle or deck into the drop zone, you can put that card to the bottom of your deck instead of putting it into your drop zone. So 1, it stops decking out. That's pretty good. And then people were theorizing with this is actually you could, let's say you had like a bunch of cards in hand, like let's say you had 10, like 8 crits, right? And you just call over your crits and you're stacking your deck. And then you mill whatever down so you know what your drive checks are. Like you could absolutely stack your deck with this card. It's pretty funny. But
I like it.
Yeah, and then when it skills when your rearguard attacks, so it's not once per turn, by the way. It just costs Soul Blast 1, and you flip a card from your G zone, so you're getting huge GB during this whole time. This unit gets 5k power until the end of turn. For each face-up card in your G zone until the end of that battle, you retire that unit. So you can get units pretty big, but it retires right then, and then you can put it back to the bottom of your deck, of course, during that battle. So pretty neat to get a lot of GB. I'm not sure about the second skill, to be honest. I don't really know what limiting things are there. Probably no, Chris?
No, I think like a lot of Great Nature players have kind of pointed this out, that a lot of their effects are end of turn stuff, and this one retires the battle, so you like lose out on a lot of those. Yeah, which is like really unfortunate.
Yeah,
and like GB doesn't matter too much for them, I don't think.
Okay.
Unless they're trying to push in like maybe the more V stuff for like standard plus, because at least with like Monoculous Tiger, just milling Yeah, because Great Nature used to be like the whole like end of turn, all this stuff happens, and you gotta account for that. But I think this one, it could be for more of the standard plus players that want to have this type of shenanigans go down.
Mhm.
I'm looking forward to see like how they're gonna make this work, because the Great Nature strategy before, like there were so many end of turn things that would go off and trigger it. It's like it's almost lasting as long as the main phase, just because of like, okay, this goes off, this goes off, this goes off.
Mhm.
But this one, it's intriguing to think of, like, because think of all the milling, all of the ways that Great Nature is drawing out the deck. It's like, wow. But then the fact that, I'm going to retire my own units, but they're not going to drop zone, they're going to the bottom of the deck, which is kind of like a secret out against, like, say, like, Narukami bind from drop zones, or like Link Joker, like, delete binds or something like that. So you have those subtle counters, but I think that from here, it'll be your first stride, and you can just grind all the way up to like GB8 if you happen to soul charge a bunch. Which is, it's a hell of a first
I don't
stride,
even know their GB8. I feel like Balarel's still pretty good, right? Even in that.
Yeah, you could just Bolaro and be like, look at my crazy power.
Well, I think that's what it's kind of meant to do as well, because you can flip like a bunch of cards face up and then go Bolaro, and then Bolaro has like 5 cards face up in your G zone, and then whatever units you target, they get massive. I
mean, the Soul Blast though is the other issue, because like they have so many other things that they want to use Soul for.
Yeah.
But I do like kind of what you pointed out, Alphonse, about the standard plus, right? Because it is a May effect, right? So you could just like make a deck with like a ton of mill cards and just be like, oh, I'll put my trigger back and nothing else. Yeah, and you just go like ham on milling your deck, and then like just leave it all triggers. Mm-hmm. Which is kind of funny. I don't know.
Yeah, Great Nature can also has this small issue of they draw themselves out of the deck because they have a G guard that draws a ton of cards, Yeah. And they'll do 2 or even 3 of them during one turn, and all of a sudden their can's like 20 cards in hand, So this way they don't exactly, lose everything. They deck out. Yeah. Because they're one of the more decks that actually are more susceptible to decking out, even more than, let's say, like, I think a lot of decks are susceptible to decking out in Vanguard Premium. Not just, I think Grand Blue is like almost the least likely. The more I watch all this stuff, it's more like, Darker Regulars is likely to deck out,
Either like you mill, you soul charge a bunch, or you just draw out your deck. Like those are just your main ways of like, what happened? Like, okay, what deck were you playing? Like, oh, you could probably know. But...
Yeah. And then today we had not our final reveal, but the final reveal so far for this episode, right? So we have Entrance Flower Princess Sandrine for Neo Nectar. So unfortunately, it's not busted Katrina Stride, right? So you could stride step this, you could stride this normally, but you don't want to stride this normally, because it's an act from the G zone. If it's face down, you can, if your opponent's Vanguard's grade 3 and you're grade 3, so that's kind of crappy restriction, but you can counterblast 1 and retire 2 token units. So they have to retire 2 token units. It's kind of rough. And you can stride it on your Vanguard, and it gets 10k in a crit. Now,
this card's so funny.
Yeah, I saw this card. I'm like, this card is why is it so bad? And I'm like, oh, it's Asha support, because basically you have Asha tokens. You have Asha tokens, but that's kind of that requires a lot of tokens, right? To get like. Doesn't it require tokens to make an Asha token? And then you have to retire 2 other tokens?
Like 4 tokens total.
Yeah.
You get like a 38, 3 crit plant token. That's great.
Yeah. Well, can you even get 2 Asha tokens with this many tokens being retired? Like, I don't even...
It beats me.
Yeah, exactly right.
Yeah, it's like, I think like we gotta give them something. They're like, you know what? Let's focus more on the standard plus and like see how Asha will play with it, because at least you can do all your shenanigans and like, oh, I forgot to stride. Oh, I did it. Whoop, and it's just like get rid of a column and just call out your stride from there. I think the fact that this is the only skill that's kind of like the funny part. It just be like, I'm gonna regular stride this. I'm like, what are you doing? What?
Yeah.
Oh, what? Like that would be so funny. And they're like, you're gonna stride that? I'm like, oh yeah.
Yeah.
Then,
I mean, wait, does it have a skill? No, it does nothing if you don't stride it from face down.
Yeah. It's a vanilla stride.
Oh my God. You can't even get 10k to crit.
I got a feeling there's gonna be a lot of misplays when people thinking like, okay, no 10K.
Yeah,
for
I
free.
mean, will there be a
Yeah.
misplay? There's still Katrina. You just go Katrina. You call it good,
Yeah.
right?
Yeah,
Unless
Katrina.
And until the May 5th, right?
until May
Oh, yeah,
until
right?
May 5th, you could use it for 1 week. Okay. 1 week left. Go ahead.
Oh man, that would be intriguing.
Just kidding. We don't know if they're gonna restrict that. I don't think they will restrict Katrina. They might do it to 1 or 0. But honestly, after seeing this, I'm like, maybe they'll wait a little bit longer before they do anything to Katrina. But yeah, because now Katrina, if Katrina's not in, what does New Nectar have? This obviously isn't an option, right?
It's better begin. There is some like funny things you can do with this card, and I gotta shout out Sean, aka Badger Vanguard, for kind of coming up with this. Is if you have a plant token already, Astra token, then you can actually, if you notice, you can restride this, so you could like Zoa, and then get a 99k on one side, and then restride this over Zoa, and like have a 3-crit Vanguard and a 3-crit Astra Fairy.
You can stride over this. Over a stride. You can stride on a stride.
Right through a greater. Yeah.
Oh shit.
Oh man, dude, I
Which is
didn't.
really funny.
You opened my eyes. I wonder what strides they can do. But Zoa over this, huh?
Yeah. So the ones that I've come up with are you can just counterblast and get a bunch of GB. Like you kill a bunch of plant. Like you just keep flipping it and like restriding it over itself. And then the other one was the progenitor. Actually, you could stride the progenitor, and normally it's like a do nothing turn, but then you can just be like, no, I'm gonna get 10k and a crit.
Wow, actually, yeah.
And that seems pretty good.
Oh
Actually.
my word.
Yeah, actually, that's pretty good, man. Thank you. Well, thanks, Chris. Well, that's pretty hot. Striding on strides. Strides on strides on strides. Okay.
Strides on
Wow.
strides on strides.
Yeah, that's pretty.
Like, what other deck does that type of stuff?
I feel like there's
just
some
be like,
stride that does something. Maybe we'll see something soon, right?
Yeah, I don't know. It has some funny like potential combos, so I'm excited to see some meme decks for sure.
Okay, great. That's it for like that portion of it. Do you guys have any predictions or things are coming soon? Like if you have an inkling feeling, like currently, I'll just kind of go first. I feel like these paladins, we're really looking for gold paladin, shadow paladin. I feel like they have really good Vanguard skills, like Mordred, Claret, even like Platina skills, actually just good on our own. So what I'm thinking is that all the paladins just basically do the Royal Paladin thing, and they get the Vanguard skill, and then something else, right?
Yeah, that'd be interesting.
Yep. So basically,
I really like those skills though, like the ones that like make use of the grade 3s, because like I don't know, it just makes your deck building and like your strategy so much more flexible, and like allows for a lot more like creative things. Especially with like the V series and making so many good grade 3 effects that you're like, oh, I really want to use this, but I also should probably stride.
Yeah, like Aggravate, it's really good. Like why is this card not a G unit? And then also Claret is pretty good. Like you're not you kind of screw over Morfessa because you're getting rid of your grade 1s, but like you're gonna be attacking extra times, right? You can also do Mordred where you can multi-attack with and get a lot of force markers. So pretty good actually. We'll see.
Man, good. I don't know predictions.
I don't know anything else. I just wanted to brought those two because I thought it was a interesting idea because it's a paladin. That's why.
You know, maybe for the remaining deck, like I would love to see Silent Tom get his own like stride, just because he's like I consider him my avatar because I was I like that. Yeah, like he's dude. He was like the insurance policy for me since like day one. Like he was always good, and I thought like maybe OTT would have a stride like that. Maybe like not Tom himself, but maybe like like an upgraded version or something like that to go with the OTT lore.
Wow.
That's what I would personally want for OTT. That or more Tsukiyomi support.
Okay.
I guess since it's like Stand-Up Plus. For the Paladins, I would love to see. Don't get me wrong. I would love to see a little bit of a shout out to Spec Duke of Gold Paladins.
Okay.
Not go usually with Azel, so trying to explore out some of the other OG because Spectral Duke Dragon was a beast of a card way back when he dominated the format for a long time.
Hopefully we get that in standard. That's the next Skull Paladin.
Yeah,
that'd be
right?
cool.
Spec Duke. Seeing Spec Duke come
People would
back
go
and,
crazy, huh?
yeah, man. Like now, like the SP Spectre Dragon now back to $50 each. Oh my word.
Yeah, I know a lot of people that really like Spectral Duke. They talk about it. I'm like, what's the big deal with this card? Like, I didn't. But
it was just the advantage.
being a Voomer is an issue, right? Sometimes, so.
Yeah, no worries. Like Spectre was just a way to just explode, and then it was a very effective restaining Vanguard with the ride chain. I think that like for Paladins, maybe like for Shadows. Okay, so we have more. I'm thinking maybe they can do a shout out to like the Witches, a shout out to more Claret Sword, maybe since he was the more recent VR that came out. Or maybe just another Mordred. Give like Mordred a third form to update in this premium collection.
Yeah, I mean, it seems that all this stuff is pretty new, you know.
Yeah.
But I was just thinking of that. I'm not sure if they're gonna do any throwbacks because all this stuff you don't really see it before, or stuff they don't have. So it's just kind of hard because everything is always like, what? I can't believe this does this. You know, every time there's a new stride. Like that's interesting take on it, and you're like, is this bad? Is it bad? I don't know if it's bad.
Yeah.
So
it all depends on what cards are going to be brought up before it. Because whenever premium collection or like some of these mega sets would come out, you always get to see like which old cards could actually like see a resurgence again, and then the next buyout on TCG Player with that.
Yeah.
You know, I'll tell you what I don't want to see.
All right.
Okay, I'm listening.
I really don't like this this new mega colony thing and that they're doing in V where they like mill your opponent's stuff and like get effects. If the stride does that or something like that, I'm gonna be so sad.
You don't like that version of it?
I don't like that version of mega colony unless it makes like the mill variant like viable by itself. If it was like every time you flip your opponent's card in the drop zone, you could do it like 2 times or something. Okay. Then maybe we're talking.
What if they like put the Great Nature, the Isabel effect, so it didn't matter what they milled, it just did everything, right? Yeah, maybe.
No.
Yeah.
I don't think it's good enough.
Yeah, honestly,
that would be horrifying.
Mega Colony is kind of a staple. We have to watch out for this deck in every deck, right? And it has to be maybe on par with its current strides, because Gridorus is really good. And it's already super annoying, so maybe there's just... that's very curious. I think a lot of people are actually looking toward Mega Colony because it's already a super annoying deck, you know. They have to watch out for that. So
the question is it going to be more annoying, or is it going to have a way to actually kill you?
Yeah, exactly. Hopefully the second one, you know, eventually
for the sake of Mega Colony players.
Eventually you have to attack and kill somebody, right? Not just to stop them from attacking. So
just like stun, dude. Studying Vanguard, studying Rearguards, some of the most annoying parts of Vanguard.
A lot of decks can get around it. That's the problem, you know. It just feels weird because I played against it recently. I didn't quite like it, and hopefully it's not just like, I don't know, Gize support. So we'll see. Yeah, don't want that. So we're still missing like 7 more Cray Elemental cards to come out. So
I want to see what those do.
Yeah, there's gonna be an order card. They announced.
Really?
Yeah,
They haven't see that.
They just announced that there is gonna be an order card. They didn't say what it is.
That's exciting.
Yeah. So yeah. Yeah, maybe.
I just found that out. I'm so excited.
Yeah. Okay. Cool.
An order card. Woo! My biggest hope is that the Cray Elementals aren't just vanillas to support the stride.
Oh no! Oh god, no!
Maybe that's the order card.
It's just 7 vanillas.
Maybe that's the order card. It makes everything vanilla, but they still have the skill.
That would be so cool.
We talked about that last time, I think, right? So
yeah.
That would be a great clue. That would be.
That's actually a great combination of like ideas there, because like
at least
a rear guard or something, and like they're truly trying to push the envelope with orders too. I think.
Yeah, orders, or just like have like, okay, when a card enters the trigger zone, that like treat it as if it's like vanilla. Like, because that would be better, because it just says whenever it enters a particular zone. So that means like, that means Cyclone, I'm just gonna keep standing because it doesn't matter what card enters. it's treated as vanilla.
Yeah. Well, it would work if you said like if it was like continue if it like was on a rear guard somehow. Like I know the Bang Dream ones are like that you place them on a rear guard, right? If it's like continuous, all your units lose effects because like you're still considered a unit in the trigger zone.
Okay, yeah.
That's true.
I was just about to end this episode, but then you bring up Bang Dream. And so before we end it, let's just go over that real quick, okay?
Yeah,
so
Bang Dream. Yeah, don't
so
worry. We got it.
I don't know if you saw it because there's only Pop and Party was announced. I don't know if you know about Bang Dream very much, but there's like 5 bands. Maybe there's a 6th one now. But
I think 5 or 6.
I know nothing.
Okay. It's a mobile game / other games where it's basically Guitar Hero. Okay.
Yeah,
and it's pretty good music. I don't know if you've listened to any of their music, but I personally really like Roselia because they do a lot of Vanguard music. It's like the Vanguard intro as well. Legendary, right? And I watched them live on stage a couple times at Kara Expo in California, Anaheim, and it's pretty awesome to be fair. Anyway, but that's just the band version of it. So that's the kind of the backstory. But they're just characters, and they all do band stuff, and they are actual artists. But they're also in card games. They're actually in Buddy Fight. They're in Weiss Schwartz, and now they're going to be in Vanguard, right?
Everywhere.
So they're first of all, I think I don't even know what nation. I think it's just a Cray Elemental. So like, it's pretty.
I think they're their own clan.
Yeah.
They're like the Bang Dream clan.
Yeah, so this Bang Dream clan, I don't think there's going to be any premium implication with them. You'll see meme decks, but I hope there's something, right? Because it has an interesting effect, Pop and Party, where it's basically Ultima, right? So you get all the, you basically, when you drive check, you get all your trigger effects, right? I'm not going to go through all the skills in this stream. If you guys going to do that, go to there. But basically you can hyper Gize, with two drive checks. And you also put triggers at the top of your deck. And it interacts with critical triggers, so it's pretty unique. But you need like
Bang
all 5
Dream Gize.
Yeah,
oh my god!
you need all 5 members of the band to get like the skill off, and you need a song card to place it behind your Vanguard, like in the back row. It's like basically an order card. And I'm not. I mean, I don't think anyone's expecting like high power creep from this. Maybe, but it seems more pretty fun and.
Yeah, it does look fun. I did take a look at the cards. I think that the most exciting thing for me personally about that set is that what they've done with the order cards is really neat. And it makes me hopeful that they're going to bring some kind of like creativity and like power level from order specifically into the other clans.
Yeah.
It seems like maybe they want to do this as a test set to see like, okay, let's see how this actually does on like a mass level scale. And seeing the order cards was intriguing, just like giving buffs or just power, just like, okay, we're just gonna like start small with this and see where we can go from there. I believe that Bang Dream is going to be interesting in the fact that how Token Ranbu was interesting, but I think with the added that this is okay, let's just see if we want to make a new force deck and see like, all right, since they're force, like, all right, you got the 13k base, you got like force 2, force 1. So I believe that it's going to be at least somewhat effective. It's just that it will be very susceptible to control. So like Narukami's gonna have a field day with it.
At least Pop and Party.
Pop and Party at least. But we'll see how the other I guess bands are. But it's at least a good start to seeing like, all right, let's see where this will take us.
Yeah. Of course, I'm excited for Roselia, because it's kind of like I think most popular band out of everything, right? And it's usually the more meta thing. And I'm sure people are excited about like other bands, of course, like Hello Happy World is supposed to be like super memey, and like other card games, right? Super funny. So we'll see where that takes us. It's pretty exciting, to be honest. And for all you people with big oil out there, okay, every card you can get in like a high rarity, like a really high rarity. So God. That's always gonna be a big thing in Bang Dream. So and I don't know if you did much Weiss, Chris, but usually there's like 3 SPs in a set, right? In a case, okay.
Yeah.
But Bang Dream, they have so many different alternate SPs and so many things that I don't remember. I think there's like 8 in like a set, or there's more. My brother, he opened a set. He has so many SPs, and and he doesn't use most of them, but he gets it's actually crazy, and it's pretty cool. But maybe they'll do that for Vanguard as well. There's be more SPs per box.
That would be interesting. I know they said that there's going to be like character signs and also voice actor signs, right?
Yes, yeah.
Which is really cool.
It was a big thing in Weiss, and some of the Bang Dream stuff. Oh my god! Like, I remember when they had, I think it was a Roselia card, and the top SP, you have the SP, you have the SSP, and then you have the SSP like signed.
SSP Yukina Minato, yeah, it's
yes, Yukina Minato.
Yeah,
$1,500.
My brother pulled one, by the way. That's
really
yes.
Oh my word!
We sold it for 1,100. Pretty pog.
Yeah, like believe me, if they plan on doing some type of effect in Vanguard, it's gonna get waifued out so crazy. I have never knew that a set could actually out SP Bermuda Triangle, but this could actually be the set.
Yeah.
Where we will see a Yukina Minato going for like $1,500.
Yeah.
In Vanguard, that's unheard of.
The problem is that card is really beautiful. It's the most beautiful card I've ever seen, and held. He didn't want to sell it, but cardboard, right?
Yeah. Yeah, it's just like the thing. It was a trinity of just like beautiful art. It's the highest rarity of that card, and it's a competitively viable card. You put that in the trinity, that justifies the price that broke 4 figures.
There's a tier 1 deck too, so that helps. Yeah, that helps a lot.
It's just good. So I'm looking forward to see how they're gonna make it in this one, and if they ever do like the SSP versus. Woo,
yeah,
people are gonna buy out cases.
I don't know if you guys seen the card art right now, but it's pretty like it's not original. It's just from like the mobile game basically. Mm-hmm. And so anything that's like different than that, like these alternate ones, it's gonna go pretty hot because like, oh my god, it's not just like Weiss style. They just take from the anime, right. And it just like it looks terrible, right? But now it's gonna look good with the SP. So. Yeah.
Yep, yeah, it's gonna be interesting. It's gonna be worth keeping tabs on.
Mm-hmm. Well, this has been a good day. That was definitely over an hour of talking about cardboard. Super fun having you guys, of course. Thank you, Chris. Thank you, Alphonse.
It's good to be here.
Come on again.
Yeah,
so
cheers to that.
Yep. I am Sage from Vision, and I'll hope to see you guys next time. And let you guys give any shout out / exit.
All right, and I'm the Alphonse Juice. Thank you guys for tuning in and listening to us talk about card games for over an hour. Shout outs to my OG team, Team Gradelock, and also shout outs to Team Vision for having me on board. So this is awesome.
All right, and I'm Chris. Yeah, thanks for sticking around, everyone. It's been a long one. And again, repeating shout outs for Vision. Hope you've been enjoying the VCC. Look forward to the finals, and stay tuned for more. And big shout out to our viewers and Vision participants in our tournaments. We wouldn't be anywhere without you. I hope you guys made it through this video. But I hope to keep this going for a bit, and see you guys soon. Bye.
Cheers.